Hello, welcome to the Breathwork Masterclass, if you will. I wanted to record this for you legends and for other people that are interested in breathwork. I just got done reading James Nestor's book, Breath, who took a very deep dive into breathing, even plugging his nostrils for 10 days. So he was only breathing out the mouth and then reversing that process, taping the mouth shut for 10 days and only breathing in out through the nose. The biggest key takeaway, shut your mouth, right? We want to be breathing in and out of the nose as much as possible. So let's start with the first technique that's mentioned is alternative nostril breathing. And if we want to be breathing in and out of our nose more frequently, I highly suggest getting a neti pot. So a neti pot is like a little Aladdin-looking lamp, genie in a bottle type of, comes in porcelain or plastic. You fill it with water and you put in a saline solution. You kind of plug your nose, let the water run through, and then do the other side. And honestly, when I do this, I feel like a new person. And after reading this book, it makes sense because when the nose is clogged, we're not breathing properly. And so highly suggest getting a neti pot, or they make squeeze bottles as well. So we're breathing all the time. So we really want to maximize this because how we breathe is affecting all of our bodily systems. And this is also a technique that BKS Iyengar, who wrote like the Yogi Bible called Light on Yoga, suggests that you do every day. And so what we're going to do is start by plugging the right nostril. And we're going to breathe in for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 5, and then inhale for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 5. And we're going to plug the different nostrils. So I like using my thumb and pinky. And you can also use your thumb and ring finger with the middle finger on the third eye center. I don't really like having a hand in my face, so I like using the pinky and thumb. So I'm going to plug the right nostril, inhale through the left for a count of 5, and then hold my breath for 5. Then I'm going to plug the left nostril and then exhale for 5. Then inhale for 5. Hold the breath, plug the right nostril, and then exhale out of the left for 5. And that's one round. So one more time. Plug the left nostril, exhale for 5 out of the right. Inhale for 5. Hold the breath for 5. Plug the right nostril, exhale out of the left for 5. And you can do anywhere from 5 to 10 rounds of that. So one round is going from left to right and back to the left. So we're starting with inhaling through the left nostril. And I want to talk about some of the benefits of these. So you're like, why am I doing these? This standard pranayama technique improves lung function and lowers heart rate, blood pressure, and sympathetic stress. It's an effective technique to employ before a meeting, an event, or sleep. The next is breathing coordination. So this technique helps to engage more movement from the diaphragm and increase respiratory efficiency. It should never be forced. Each breath should feel soft and enriching. So what we're going to do is take a nice big inhale through the nose. And then on the exhale, we're going from 1 to 10 kind of softly. So speaking out loud. And so you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what you'll notice is that the diaphragm is hugging in more and more. You're emptying all the air. And then towards the end, you're whispering. And then at the very end, you're just mouthing with your lips the counting. So let me demonstrate for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 5, 6. I feel pretty empty, and then I'm going to inhale and repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And inhale again. So you can do anywhere from 10 to 30 cycles or more of this. And once you feel comfortable practicing this technique while sitting, try it while walking or jogging or during other light exercises. So for classes and individual coaching, you can go to breathingcoordination.ch/training, or you can see me. The next technique is called resonant breathing, a calming practice that places the heart, lungs, and circulation into a state of coherence where the systems of the body are working at peak efficiency. There is no more essential technique and none more basic. So basically, it's just an inhale for 5.5 seconds and an exhale for 5.5 seconds. And, he did all this research and he's like, this is like the fundamental technique. There's a certain ratio of why this works that I don't know off the top of my head, but it works. So inhale for 5.5 seconds and without pausing, exhale for 5.5 seconds. You can repeat at least 10 times, more if possible. So there's different apps you can use. One is called Paced Breathing, and the other is called My Cardiac Coherence. And as a subcategory of this type of coherent breathing is called the Buteyko breathing. The point of Buteyko techniques is to train the body to breathe in line with its metabolic needs. For the vast majority of us, that means breathing less. Buteyko had an arsenal of methods, and most of all of them are based on extending the time between inhalations and exhalations or breath holding. Here are a few of the simplest. So it's called the controlled pause, a diagnostic tool to gauge general respiratory health and breathing progress. So you can use a stopwatch for this on your phone or a watch with a second hand. Sit up with a straight back, pinch both nostrils closed with thumb and forefinger with either hand, then exhale softly out of your mouth to the natural conclusion. Start the stopwatch and hold the breath. So here we go. Holding the breath. And when you feel the first potent desire to breathe, note the time and take a soft inhale. Soft inhale. So it's important that that first breath after the pause is controlled and relaxed. If it's labored or gasping, the breath hold was too long. Wait several minutes and try it again. The control pause should only be measured when you're relaxed and breathing normally, never after strenuous exercise or during stress states. And like all breath restriction techniques or breath holding, never attempt it while driving, while underwater, or in any other conditions where you might be injured should you become dizzy. So let's try that maybe one more time. So we're going to plug the nostrils with either hand, exhale out of the mouth, and then hold. And then as you do this, you'll be able to hold your breath for longer and longer, which is great because another big premise is breathing less. So breathing in through the nose and breathing less in general is a general rule of thumb. So the next technique is the mini breath holds. So this is another version of this coherent breathing. So a key component to Buteyko breathing is to practice breathing less all the time, which is what this technique trains the body to do. Thousands of these practitioners and several medical researchers swear by it to stave off asthma and anxiety attacks. So exhale gently and hold the breath for half the time of the control pause. For instance, if your pause just then was 40 seconds, then mini breath holds would be 20 seconds. Repeat from 100 to 500 times a day. Setting up timers throughout the day, every 15 minutes or so, can be helpful reminders. Why would you do this? Because our breathing is affecting everything. So exhale gently, hold the breath. Let's do 10 seconds. Breath holds, key. Next is nose songs. So nitric oxide is a powerhouse molecule that widens capillaries, increases oxygenation, and relaxes the smooth muscles. Humming increases the release of nitric oxide in the nasal passages 15-fold. There is the most effective and simple method for increasing this essential gas. So breathe normally through the nose and hum any song or sound. Practice for at least 5 minutes a day, more if possible. I really like this one. This is very similar to something called the bee breath. So inhaling and then humming. I can feel the nitric oxide. All right. It may sound ridiculous and feel ridiculous, like maybe I just looked, and annoy those nearby, but the effects can be potent. So this is something you can also incorporate into walking or running. And we are in September right now, so you can add on a bonus for peak optimization. So less extreme hypoventilation exercises offer many of the benefits of high altitude training. They're easy and be practiced anywhere. So walk or run for a minute or so while breathing normally through the nose. Exhale and pinch the nose closed while keeping the same pace. When you sense a palpable air hunger, release the nose and breathe very gently at about half of what feels normal for about 10 to 15 seconds. Return to regular breathing for 30 seconds. Repeat for about 10 cycles. So you're walking, breathing in and out of the nose, and then pinch the nose. Keep walking. And then when you sense that palpable hunger, release the nose and breathe very gently at about half of what feels normal for about 10 to 15 seconds. So still kind of slow breathing. And then return to regular breathing for 30 seconds and repeat. Decongest the nose. I'll just reiterate, neti pot. So this is a technique for decongesting the nose. Sit up straight and exhale a soft breath, then pinch both nostrils shut. Try to keep your mind off the breath holding, so distract yourself, shake your head up and down, side to side, go for a quick walk, or jump and run. Once you feel a very potent sense of air hunger, take a very slow and controlled breath in through the nose. If the nose is still congested, breathe softly through the mouth with pursed lips. Continue this calm, controlled breathing for at least 30 seconds to 1 minute. Repeat all these steps 6 times. All right, you may notice that I'm chewing gum right now. It is nicotine gum, which is helping me with focus and productivity. But the other big thing, not directly related to breathing, but it is chewing. So our ancestors, they were chewing hard things all the time, right? And so they had straight teeth, and very well established like facial features. And when the Industrial Revolution came about, or the Agrarian Revolution rather, we started farming and having softer foods. And then people started having discombobulated teeth and having mutations in their facial structure, which inhibited their breathing. Health is going to go down. So he suggests there's a couple brands he recommends. There's also like one of those jaw exercise, like little balls or things you can do that you can, chew on while you're doing your workouts. But the gums he suggests are Phalum. It's a Turkish brand. It's as tough as shoe leather, and each piece lasts for about an hour. And then there's mastic gum, which comes from the resin of the evergreen shrub, Pistacia lentiscus. And so these gums, he says, don't taste very good, but they're going to give you a really good jaw workout, which is going to help clear up and fix some of the facial structure so you can breathe better. And if you just do regular gum, that's good too. Just get a nice piece of steak. And there's some oral devices too that they have. Preventative oral device, small retainer that fits along the bottom row of teeth and simulates chewing stress. And for more information on that, you can see discoverthepod.com and drtheodorebelford.com. Next, one of my favorites, Tumo. So this is also called the inner fire meditation, practiced by Tibetan monks in the really cold weather, and they're able to generate heat from their body. The modern form of this is Wim Hof. He made this really popular. So what you're doing is taking very deep and very fast breaths. You do a round of 30. On the last exhale, you hold the breath for as long as you can. And then you inhale and hold the breath for 15 seconds. And you want to do about 3 rounds of this. So you exhale, hold for as long as you can. Inhale, hold for a count of 15. Exhale and start again. I kind of like taking little pauses in between to kind of soak in what just happened and meditate, but I still try to do 3 rounds total. So you want to make sure you're either lying down or sitting in a safe space, because you could faint. I've seen it happen once, and the guy fainted over me. So I remember it. And he had a smile on his face as he was doing it, which was really funny. So relax the shoulders, chest, and legs. Take 30 very deep, very fast breaths into the pit of the stomach, and then let it back out. If possible, breathe through the nose. If the nose feels obstructed, try pursed lips. The movement of each inhalation should look like a wave, filling up in the stomach and softly moving up through the lungs. What happens for me is that I tend to just focus on the upper lungs. But if you want to do it properly, you're focusing on filling the belly, then the upper chest. Exhales follow the same movement, first emptying the stomach, then the chest as air pours through the nose or pursed lips of the mouth. At the end of the third breath, exhale to the natural conclusion, leaving about a quarter of the air in the lungs. Hold that breath for as long as possible. So we're not emptying out completely, having a little bit of breath there. Once you've reached your absolute breath hold limit, take one huge inhale and hold it for another 15 seconds. Very gently move that fresh breath around the chest into the shoulders, then exhale and start the heavy breathing again. I don't know what he really means by moving the breath around, but something to experiment with. Repeat the entire pattern at least 3 times. So Tumo takes some practice, and learning it from written instructions can be confusing and difficult, but we're going to do it right now. And then there's another website I can share with you. So here we go. Filling the belly and chest, rapid breathing in through the nose if possible, or through pursed lips. I find that doing this in through the nose can kind of create an uncomfortable sensation, which then I'll switch to the mouth. So here we go. I lost count. Hold the breath for as long as you can. You can close the eyes and meditate. Start to feel some sensations. Probably the alteration of the blood pH. I've been doing this practice for a pretty long time now, so you can hold the breath for a good amount of time. But when you're reaching that edge, taking a big inhale and then holding for 15. And then you would repeat for 2 more rounds. Love this technique. So next is something that comes from the art of living. It's a particular like long form yogic breathing style that I'm unfamiliar with, but it's called Sudarshan Kriya. Author says this is the most powerful technique he's learned and one of the most involved and difficult to get through. So Sudarshan Kriya consists of 4 phases: Om chants, breath restriction, pace breathing, inhaling for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, exhaling for 6, and holding for 2. And finally, 40 minutes of very heavy breathing. So you can find some tutorials on YouTube, or if you want to learn this live, you can go to artofliving.org and they have some workshops. It reminds me of holotropic breathing, which essentially you're doing a double inhale into the belly, into the chest, and you're doing that with music for anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours. And holotropic, if the breakdown means moving towards wholeness. And so Stanislav Grof, who's doing research with LSD, when they shut off permission to do those studies, he came up with this technique, him and his wife, to help people basically induce a psychedelic state without the psychedelics. Highly recommend it. And yeah, it can be really intense and you can get into your unconscious. People can go, into pre-birth memories, like while they're still in the womb, and all sorts of crazy stuff. So I really love it because I believe that traumas live in the body. Talk therapy is very good, but in my studies, I really find that getting into the body and getting things out of the body is my favorite way. Yogic breathing. So it's a 3-part breath, which you will then turn into one fluid motion, but we're basically filling the belly, filling the lower lobes of the lungs, and then the upper lungs. So you're just imagining like sequentially filling up the belly, filling up the lower lungs, and then filling the upper lungs. And then on the exhale, reversing that. So emptying the upper lungs, emptying the lower lungs, and then emptying the belly. So you can practice with just like placing your hand on the belly, taking like 3 breaths, focusing on filling up the belly. And then bring the hands to the lower lungs and at the bottom of the rib cage, focusing on that area. And then placing the hands right kind of by the sternum and filling up that area. And then you turn that into one fluid motion. So filling the belly, filling the lower lobes, and then the upper lobes. And then reversing that on the exhale. Hugging the belly in towards the spine, and then repeating belly, lower lobes, upper lobes. overall increasing our lung capacity. Next, this is something that's a very common but effective technique. Navy SEALs use this technique to stay calm and focused in tense situations, and it's simple. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and repeat. So longer exhalations will elicit a stronger sympathetic parasympathetic response, a variation of box breathing to more deeply relax the body that's especially effective before sleep is as follows. So basically the same idea, but we're inhaling for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 6, and holding for 2. So try at least 6 rounds more if necessary. So let's do a couple rounds of just regular box breathing, 4, 4, 4, 4. And then we'll do a couple rounds of 4, 4, 6, 2. So here we go. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's try this other one. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. Hold for 2. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. Hold for 2. And repeat. So breath hold walking. So Anders Olsen uses this technique to increase carbon dioxide and thus increase circulation in his body. It's not much fun, but the benefits, Olsen told me, are many. So go to a grassy park, beach, or anywhere else where the ground is soft. You're also getting the added benefit of grounding. We are electromagnetic beings, so getting in contact, our bare skin on the earth in any way, highly beneficial for inflammation and a bunch of other things. So go to this grassy park, beach, anywhere where the ground is soft. Exhale all of the breath. Then walk slowly, counting each step. Once you feel a powerful sense of air hunger, stop counting and take a very few calm breaths through the nose while still walking. Breathe normally for at least a minute, then repeat the sequence. So the more you practice this technique, the higher the count. Olsen's record is 130 steps, the author about a third of that. And we're in September right now. So this can be something fun you can do while you're getting your steps in and increasing your breathing, making your breathing better. Last technique, 4-7-8 method. So famous holistic health practitioner, Dr. Andrew Weil, places the body into a state of deep relaxation. You can use it on long flights to help fall asleep. So we'll breathe in for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. So take a breath is a little different though. We're making a whoosh sound. So take a breath in, then exhale through your mouth with a whoosh sound. Close the mouth, inhale quietly through the nose to a mental count of 4. Hold for a count of 7. Exhale completely through your mouth with a whoosh to the count of 8. Repeat this cycle for at least 4 breaths. So here we go. Exhale all the air out. Close the mouth, inhale quietly through the nose to a mental count of 4. Hold for 7. Exhale completely through the mouth through a count of 8. And the bonus technique, and also one of my favorites, is the breath of fire. So basically what you're doing, and this helps clear the nasal passages as well, forceful exhale through the nose as you pump the belly in. So kind of like this. So it's just a forceful exhale through the nose. And if that trips you up, because I've had people kind of confused by this technique, you can also focus on the inhale as well. So, but what I'm doing is just focusing on my exhale. And if that's tripping you up, you can do this. I like to do 30 repetitions and then double the tempo for another 30. And similar to what we did in the Wim Hof, one big inhale, exhale, hold for as long as you can, and then inhale and hold for 15 seconds. But what I really like to do, I think this is a more advanced technique, whatever, I like to hold directly on the inhale to provide more sensation. So, but the proper technique is holding on the exhale for as long as you can, inhale, holding for 15 seconds. So this breath of fire kind of looks something like this. Double the tempo. Slow it down. Big inhale, exhale, hold for as long as you can. Riding that edge. Whenever you're ready, you inhale and hold for 15 seconds. That's some good stuff right there. Anyway, hope that was helpful. You are now equipped with a plethora of different breathwork techniques that you can do while sitting or walking. But if you're doing the kind of the breath holds like we just did, make sure you're in a safe space, not driving. Anyway, that's the wrap up for today. Hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions or you want to join me for some practice sessions, you know where to find me in the Legend Lounge at now 11 a.m. on Fridays, PST. See you there. Peace.